Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. My name is Micah. Welcome to my channel. Today I have the long-awaited new Essence lineup. I already did a Catrice one, which I will be linking in the eye above, but Essence also does a complete overhaul of their makeup line every 6 months, and this is that video. People were already saying like, are you going to be doing Essence? And yes, I will. Essence is a little bit more easily available than Catrice, I'm very well aware, but these products are not all released at the same time. They first do Catrice and then they do Essence. So the Essence overhaul is here and I've got lots of new stuff to try for you. Almost a full face again, as per usual. I only don't have new concealer and I don't have any new like brow gel, but everything else that you now see on my face is new stuff. New eyeshadow, new mascara, new fixing spray, new primer, new base product. It's all here and I'm going to talk you through it. So since I know this is going to be a long video, let's just get to it. The first thing I'm going to put on is a lip balm. They have a new range of lip balms. This is the My Beauty Lip Ritual and I think it comes in 3 different types. I bought the moisturizing balm with cherry blossom extract. And it smells faintly of like a sweet sort of cherry smell. It has a bit of a cherry chapstick kind of smell. So let me just put this on. It's very soft, feels very moisturizing. We'll see when we get to the end of my makeup routine whether I still feel moisturized, whether it's going to work well that way, but that's the new lip balm. As I said, I have pretty much a full face of makeup here, and a lot of the products that I have are from a new line that they're doing, and it's the You Better Work line, and it's supposed to be gym proof, sweat proof, and a lot of the products are also waterproof makeup. So they have a primer, an eyeshadow primer, tinted moisturizer, face powder, there's a new mascara, there's fixing spray, all within this same line, and I tried to get as many of these products as I could. So we're going to start off with the You Better Work Gym Proof Primer, Sweat Proof, SPF 20, Instant Blur Effect. I already took pictures for my blog, so I already had a play around and swatching these products, but I'll show you this on the back of my hand. It's green, and I'm not a big fan of green primer, but we're just going to apply it to my face. It seemed to spread out quite nicely, and it didn't look too green anymore once I had blended it into my hand for the picture, so we'll see how it goes. I definitely have a little bit of like redness and stuff going on, so maybe it will also do a little bit of color correcting at the same time. So let me just take out my primer brush, and I've just got a good amount on there. Let's see if that's enough. Alright, so I feel it doesn't really leave a green cast on my face. And it smells really, really nicely. If I smell my brush, it really smells like baby products a little bit. So, baby shampoo kind of smell. Very soft, little powdery. It's a very pleasant, clean smell. Not like the other primer that they came out with 6 months ago. That was just atrocious. That had a very strong fruity smell. It was very sweet, and it lingered for too long. So I do hope this scent kind of goes away because I don't like to have a lot of scent in my makeup, but we'll see. From the same line, they have a new eye primer. This is the You Better Work Gym Proof Waterproof Eye Primer. Again, let me quickly show you what this looks like on the back of my hand, and then you'll be able to see that it is quite dark. So I'm not sure if this will do anything in terms of like, you know, blocking out veining or anything like that. It definitely has a bit of color to it, so I think it may work a little bit with also applying a real base at the same time. So we'll see how it goes. So it doesn't really do anything in terms of like blocking out your lid or anything like that. It doesn't have enough color for that. Once you blend it in, it definitely sort of disappears. It doesn't really feel tacky either, so let's see if it grabs onto shadow and whether I can blend my eyeshadow on top of it in a little bit. Also in this You Better Work line is a tinted moisturizer. This is only available in 2 shades. I got the lightest one, which is 10 Light, and it looks a little bit dark and orange, so we'll see how it goes. Let me just show you that on the back of my hand so you can see what I mean. It's very liquidy. as you can see. And it definitely looks a little too dark for me, but we'll see how this will go. It definitely does sheer out quite a bit. And I found that as I was applying this to the back of my hand for swatch pictures, that it did sheer out, and not only that, that it left like a little bit of a glowy look. So we'll see how that goes. And I've got a new brush to apply this with as well. This is the Essence Face All-Rounder brush. Now the concept of this brush, I'm not sure if you can see, but it has a very, very weird shape. And I don't really get it. It's supposed to have like one side for foundation and another side for concealer, but I'm not sure if you can see that. But it's actually quite an uneven cut. Some of the bristles are sort of like sticking out a little bit longer than the others, so I'm not sure if you can see that from there, but it just seems to be a bit weird. But I'm just going to apply the tinted moisturizer with this brush right now, so we'll see how it goes. Right, so per usual with the sponge, it's a little bit quicker than with the brush. The brush is nice and soft though, and I do like this like bigger part of the brush to really get, like to blend the product in. I think it works quite well. As you can see, the brush does absorb quite a bit of product, so that's quite, quite a thing, I guess. If I look at the shade match, it's definitely not too out there. I think that in the summertime this can look quite pretty. It's definitely not looking too orange or dark. It's definitely not as intense as a full-on swatch when you sheer it out, and I feel that whether I use a brush or a sponge, I get a very similar coverage. But this is definitely super duper lightweight coverage. It's definitely a tinted moisturizer and not a foundation. So this is really one of those products that, you know, can look nice. It's also supposed to be a line that you wear either to the gym or just after you've worked out. So I think it looks really nice. The shade is definitely not too dark, and it is a little bit glowy, so it's like a nice bit of a skin perfector. I think this may be a nice product again in the summertime, because if I have a little bit of a tan, I like to not use very heavy foundations or anything like that. So, and I actually ran out of my favorite BB cream last summer. So, and since that's been discontinued, it was the Body Shop Tea Tree one. That's been discontinued, so I'm definitely looking for a replacement. So maybe something like this might work, we'll see. Moving on then to concealer. I don't have a new concealer, so I just have one by Essence that I like in general. This is the Stay All Day 16-hour long-lasting concealer. So I'm just going to apply this, and then I'll get back to you for our next step. Right, so now that our concealer has been applied, we're not just moving on to powder just yet, because I have two new liquid highlighters to try. I think this line was already around. This is the Cosmic Cuties Unicorn Love liquid highlighter. I think these came out last time around, but I just hadn't really spotted them, but I saw them now. I've never tried this product, and this is like a pinky with like an iridescent glitter kind of highlighter. So when you swatch it quite full on, but then when you blend it out, there is quite a bit of noticeable sparkle. I'm not sure if you can see it from that distance, but from here I can definitely see like glitter flecks in there. Then the other one that I've got is definitely new. This is the Insta Perfect liquid highlighter. This is the liquid highlighter in 10 #gold addiction. This is a very wet formula again, so, and I think you only need a drop of this. It's like super concentrated. So there you have that drop, and then see how wet that is? It spreads out very easily, but it does have a really, really nice sort of like light white champagne-y gold kind of highlight to it. So that is something I really, really like. So what I'll just do is I'll just put a drop of this on the back of my hand and apply it with a stipple brush to this cheek. And then I'll use the more glittery one on this cheek, and perhaps we can see the difference a little bit. So that's the other cheek, and I think that that is definitely a little less intense than the other side. The other side is definitely like this more like glowy, highlightery kind of look. Whereas this, it's just a lot more difficult to apply. And this is like sticking down, and then you can no longer blend it. So It's one of those products you need to work with quite quickly, and I just don't feel that this really has the same effect as this does. But I like this a lot better, especially for the summertime. Something like this can just look very, very nice and glowy. It definitely looks very natural on the skin. You definitely don't see a stripe. Whereas with this one, because it tends to settle down in one place, I definitely can see a lot more concentrated product along that highlight line, but it didn't really spread out. Whereas this really has this like roof kind of like highlight look, which is what I prefer. On to powder. They have a new fixing powder. This is the You Better Work Gym Proof Waterproof Powder. Now it doesn't come with a mirror, which, I mean, if you're supposed to take this with you to the gym, I'd have liked a mirror in here, just saying. And it comes with a sponge, so I think the idea is that you do this and then you can like touch up or do something like that. I'm not a big fan of these little sponges, however, since it doesn't have a mirror and since I've had mirrors shatter in my bag before, this could be one to use on the go if you just need a quick touch up. But for now, we're just going to see. It's just a white powder, so we'll see. Texture-wise, I thought when I felt it, it feels quite hard. So I'm not sure if this really will do very much, but we'll see. So this is definitely a setting powder. It does mattify, but it doesn't look too cakey. It doesn't have much of a white cast, but on my fair skin, I never really have that problem. But if you are darker, then you may have that issue, just saying. Before we move on to the rest of the face, I'd like to do brows first. And they have a new brow pencil. This is the Essence Microprecise Eyebrow Pencil. Again, waterproof. What shade do I have this in? This is in the shade Blonde. It is really, really soft. There you have a swatch. It looks a little bit too warm for my taste, but I do also have my favorite Essence Make Me Brow Gel, so hopefully that can save the day because that's nice and ashy. So we'll just apply this. So I definitely think it's a little bit warm, but because it's very fine, I don't think it's really, really crazy looking in my brows. I would have liked it a little bit ashier, but I think it works quite nicely. It's a very soft pencil though, so I think this is one of those brow pencils that if you start using it regularly, it will last like 2 weeks and then poof, it's gone, because you don't get a whole lot of product in here either. It only comes with like 0.05 grams of product, so I think this is one of those products you would have to repurchase almost every month. So we're back and we're going to finish off the face. They have come out with some new face products. They have a new cheek palette. This is the Hey Cheeks Blush, Bronzer, and Highlight Palette. And this looks like that. You've got a nice lighter highlighter. You've got 3 blushes, a matte bronzer, and a shimmery bronzer if you're fair skin like me. But I think on a very dark skin tone that this very shimmery number could work as a highlighter if you'd like. I'm just going to stick to some of these, I think, but I also have some other things that I'm not sure if I can pull those in this video. So maybe I'm just gonna have to come back to these when I do my recap. In a few weeks, months time, I will definitely do like an overview of all of the Catrice and Essence products that I've tried and show you what worked for me and what didn't. Essence has come out with these little heart-shaped tints. They look really nice and cute. This is the My Glow Passion Blush. It's a very dark shade, so I don't think I'll be wearing this today. I think with a nice light hand it will work. And then there is the My Glow Passion Highlighter. And this is a like duochrome purpley pink shifting kind of highlight, which I usually enjoy, but I don't feel that these two go together because this is very warm toned and this is very cool toned. And I don't think it will really go with any of these things in the palette. So I'm just going to stick to the palette for the sake of this video, but I will definitely give you an update on whether those other 2 products worked for me or not. So I think I'm just going to stick to this highlight, this bronzer, and then maybe 1 or 2 of these blushes. These 2 are matte, and this is a shimmery blush. This has more of like a peachy undertone. This is more of like a coral, even though it looks very orange in the viewfinder. And this is like more of a pink. So maybe I can just blend all 3 together and we can try that. But let's do a bit of bronzer first. So I'm just going to use my usual bronzer brush. This is the Stipple brush by Crown Brushes. The pans aren't massive. For bronzer, it's perhaps a little bit small. Right, so the bronzer in this palette is nice enough, I think. It works quite well to give me a little bit of a glow, a little bit more of a bronzy look. It's actually quite nice, so I'm happy with that. Now let's apply this highlighter to the high points of my cheeks. Now I think we'll also be able to see the effect of the different liquid highlighters that I have on underneath. So this is the side with the liquid highlighter that didn't do much, and then you can really see the effect of this powder highlighter, I think. It's very nice. It has a really nice blendability. It doesn't look streaky or anything like that. It has a very nice glowy look. I thought it looks very dark in the pan, but I feel it applies a lot lighter than you might expect, so that's good. And then on this side, because we had a more intense liquid highlighter underneath it, I also feel I get more of a punchy highlight on this side. So using these two in conjunction, if you like a very blinding highlight, I think that might be a nice formula to try, a little nice recipe, you could say, because I definitely feel I have more of a highlight going on this side than I do on this side. Then I think I'm just going to layer these, I guess. I think what I'll do is I'll start with the peach and a nice large fluffy blush brush. So I quite enjoy that blush look actually. It's very natural, it's very nice, and it works well with the bronzer and the highlighter that I've already got going on. But of course, what we can also do is apply a bit of this shimmering blush that's a bit more corally, and if I try to target it a little bit higher up and blend it into the highlight, it might give a nice effect as well. So as I had expected, this second blush, this shimmery number, is a lot more intense. It has like a pinky peachy vibe to it, so definitely a bit of a coral. And it does apply very nicely too. I find that the shimmer of the blush meshes very nicely with the shimmer of the highlight. And then I'm going to move into the pink blush here, and I'm just going to try and focus it here a little bit more on like the apples of my cheeks. And of course, on the daily, I would never apply 3 blushes. I'm just showing this for the sake of the video. My favorite definitely has to be the peach one for every day. I mean, it's a very nice, subtle shade. This, if you want something a bit more shimmery, and if you like pinks, then you also have a pink blush in here. I think they work well together. It's definitely nothing too crazy, but I would never really grab for that. But the quality of this little palette here seems to be quite nice. I definitely have to try it out a little bit more. That goes for everything in this video, of course. So now we're moving on to eye products, and ASOS came out with some new eyeshadow palettes. They are doing 4 in this style, but they've also discontinued some of the shades in their older style palettes, which they are now doing new ones for. But since I had already tried that older style, I really wanted to try this new, completely new line, and they came up with some new eyeliners, which I have one for as well. Let's talk eyeshadow palettes first. They are doing 4 of these. One is them. The other 2 that I don't have are Paris and Rio inspired. I believe the Rio one is very warm toned. The Paris one is very rosy toned, but I went with the Good Day Sydney one and the Hello New York. So I'll show you the Sydney one first. This is what the palette looks like, and these colors really spoke to me. You get some like teals and blues and a green with neutral shades, so this can be a very wearable palette, and I'm not sure why. I've never seen this palette in real life, but it's sort of giving me Anastasia Beverly Hills Makeup by Mario palette kind of vibes. It seems to have very similar shades, far fewer of course than that palette and its drugstore. That's a big difference. And they also have a new cool tone palette. I am living for cool tones at the moment, so I was very happy to see this. And it's New York, which is one of my favorite cities in the world, so what's not to love? This has a purple, some like cooler tone brown, some grays, and then it has a bunch of these like duochrome shades. When I swatched them, this very light shade didn't really do very much, but we'll see. I think what I'll try to do is just blend these together to make an eye look for you, and use the new Smoky Crystal Ultra Long Lasting Eye Pencil along the upper lash line or something like that. Smudge it out for a bit of liner. This is in the shade Opal, and I thought this was very pretty actually. This comes in 4 different shades, and it's like it's not quite a black, but it's not also like a brown, so it's sort of like in between a black and a brown. And then it has a lot of like golden toned sparkle, so I think that can be pretty. I'm just going to zoom you in so that we can do a bit of an eye look, and then after the eye look, I will talk you through some more new products. We've made a bit of an eye look so far, and these two palettes work quite well. I do have to say that the shimmer that I have all over my lid is this one, and it's very chunky. Also, when you apply it with a finger, you can sort of feel the grittiness of that shade. So I'm not sure how much I will like that in the end. They aren't very powdery, I'd say, but with this purple, I definitely had a bit of issue blending it very well. It seemed to like grab on and then not really wanting to blend. In the end, I think it worked out quite well. I think these might be the kind of shades that kind of muddy together, but so far I'm quite pleased with this look. I think this one has some really nice neutrals. This one has some interesting iridescent sparkles, so I'm definitely gonna have to play around with these a little bit more and like do looks just using one of the palettes at the time, I guess. The eyeliner so far seems to be pretty okay. Like if you try to tight line with it, you definitely don't get any of that sparkle anymore, but it is a nice, like interesting, like black and brown shade that will go with a lot of different looks. So I'm quite pleased with that. But we're not done yet when it comes to eyes, because I still have a mascara. Again, in that You Better Work line that is new. This is the Volume Curl Mascara, Gym Proof and waterproof, and I really like waterproof mascara. I just never really found one that also volumizes at the same time, so we'll see how this goes. It has a like standard bristled wand, so nothing too crazy. Not sure if you can see that very well, but it does have a curve to it. So it has a little dip, but other than that, it doesn't have synthetic brush hairs or anything like that. It is like a standard mascara wand. Right, so in terms of mascara, I'm not sure whether this is my favorite. It has a very dry formula. It's very difficult to get the mascara to transfer to my lashes, I find. It's not super clumpy or anything like that. I find the brush a little bit big for my lower lashes, so I didn't want to smudge my look too much, so that's why I didn't go hardcore on there. Other than that, it looks quite nicely. I don't think it truly volumizes my lashes. It does lift them a little bit, but not too much. So I don't think this will be my favorite, but hey, if it does stay put very well, then I might still very much enjoy it, so we'll see. And now we're getting to the end of the products that I want to try. I still have 2 more lip products, but before we move on to that, let's talk a little bit more about that lip balm that I tried at the beginning, because that's been on my lips for the entire video right now, and it has definitely sort of like settled in a little bit. It doesn't feel as thick anymore as at the beginning, so it nicely is absorbed by the lips, and it does definitely moisturize my lips so far. So it seems to be a good one to use before doing makeup, I think, so that's a nice one. And then I have 2 glosses. They don't have any new lipsticks, and I'm not a gloss lover, but you know that for the sake of these videos, I like trying anything that they put out. So since I'm not a huge gloss fan, I'm a little bit biased to be more negative about these things. But they have a new Plumping lip gloss line. Catrice had a lot of plumping lip products too, so I think that's what they're going for. This is the Plumping Nudes lip gloss, which looks nice enough. I got the shade Big Bang, so we'll see how it goes. It seemed very sticky when I swatched it, so we'll see. So this is that gloss. It's not super sticky. I thought it would be a little bit thicker on the lips once applied, because it seems very sticky and thick in the tube, and when you apply it as well, like you do need to, it takes quite a bit to transfer it onto your lips. And this is definitely one of those minty, tingling, plumping glosses, because I can definitely starting to feel it tingling away. It doesn't smell too minty. It actually smells a little bit sweet, like cake batter almost. So it's definitely, with the sensation you feel and the smell it has, those two things don't really go together. I like this shade. It's like a My Lips but better kind of shade, but I don't think I will be wearing this a whole lot because, as I said, I'm not much of a lipstick kind of girl, lip gloss kind of girl. And they also have this new line. This is the Crystal Wet Look lip gloss, and this seems to be a bit more sparkly, so I thought that this maybe could go up on top of what I'm already having on right now. This is in the shade Soul Crystal, and it's like a very nice lavender shade, which appealed to me when I saw it on their website, but I think this is just mainly clear gloss with sparkle. Yeah, this is definitely a lot more sparkly. Can you see that in the middle of my lip? This is nice for like an accent if you like doing that. This smells very sweet. This is very much like that cookie dough kind of scent. I'm not a big fan. I do think the effect is very pretty though. It's a very sort of like, indeed, wet look kind of effect on the lip. It doesn't look too sparkly, which I had expected because you do sort of see shimmer particles in this product, but you don't feel them on your lips. I think this actually looks quite pretty. And then last but not least, we have the You Better Work Gym Proof Fixing Spray. Sweat resistant, anti-shine. It seems to be a very fine mist, but you definitely need to give it a couple of spritzes because it comes out very wet and in droplets at first. You definitely need to, when you first start using this, and I've had that with a lot of the essence sprays, you definitely need to give it a couple of good spritzes before you start using it, because else you will ruin your makeup. So we'll see how this goes. I don't feel they really mess with my makeup all that much. It doesn't give me a very dewy finish. It didn't really do anything to change my makeup. So it's definitely just a fixing spray. And it has that same very pleasant, clean, baby kind of smell that the primer and also the tinted moisturizer have. So there we have all of the new Essence products that I bought to try. There was a lot more here than I thought, because when I had a browse on their website, it was like, oh, they don't have that many new things. And then I started applying it and I'm still sitting here filming for like more than an hour. So we'll see how all of these products will work in the future. I will definitely do a follow-up in a couple of weeks, maybe months time, when I've given all of these things a bit of a better shot. In the meantime, reviews of these products will be going up on my blog as per usual. And if you would like to see an overview of the new Catrice products, then I already did that video about a month ago. So I'll make sure to link that in the description box down below in case you're interested. So yeah, now all that rests me to do is to try these products as much as I can before I get back to you. And if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be lovely. I make new videos 3 times a week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And yeah, without further ado, I hope you have a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!